Have you ever felt like you're living in two worlds at once? One that everyone else sees, and another that only you can feel. A world beneath the surface, vibrating in silence, whispering truths no one else seems to hear. If so, you're not broken. You're not lost. You're simply remembering. There is a frequency, an ancient one, that doesn't exist in language, culture, or logic. It pulses through your dreams, your gut feelings, your sudden insights. It's the frequency of the soul before it was wrapped in human skin. And only those who were sent here with a mission can sense it. Only the ones who were never meant to stay asleep can hear it calling. That call is the first sign. Not everyone hears it, but if you do, you already know it's not coming from outside of you. It's echoing from within. We live in a world where most people are taught to worship logic and ignore intuition, to fear the unknown, to trust only what they can touch. But if you're one of the chosen ones, that never fully worked for you. You could play along, pretend to fit in, even succeed in the systems built on illusion. But it drained you. It felt like wearing someone else's skin. Sooner or later, the mask cracked. And when it did, you found yourself standing in the middle of a life you didn't choose, surrounded by people who didn't truly see you, carrying a truth you couldn't explain. That's how it starts for many of us. Not with enlightenment, but with collapse. With the unbearable awareness that this isn't all there is. And from that moment on, you can never go back. When you're chosen to transcend dimensions, your life becomes initiation. Not through temples or rituals, but through pain, isolation, and profound inner transformation. You start to see the patterns behind the patterns. You notice how time folds in on itself, how your thoughts shape your reality, how your energy affects entire rooms. You begin to feel like you're walking between timelines, as if part of you was already living in a higher realm, pulling your human self toward it. This isn't imagination. This is awakening. And it's not easy, because the more you expand, the more the world resists. You'll lose relationships. You'll question your sanity. You'll wonder if you made it all up. But deep down, you know you didn't. You know your soul is remembering something you agreed to long before you were born. One of the clearest signs you're the chosen one is this. You can no longer tolerate what isn't true. Not in your work, your relationships, your conversations, or your own mind. Anything that's out of alignment begins to feel physically unbearable. You may develop extreme sensitivity, not just to sound or light, but to lies, manipulation, and energetic distortion. You'll feel it in your body. Your system is being rewired to reject the false and anchor the real. That level of sensitivity is not weakness, it's evolution. You're being turned into a tuning fork for truth. And yes, it isolates you, but it also empowers you. Because truth carries a frequency that can collapse false realities. And when you walk in that frequency, you become a living disruption to the illusion. You don't need to try to wake people up. Your presence does that on its own. You've probably noticed it already, how people open up around you, how they confess things they've never told anyone, how they either feel magnetized or uncomfortable in your presence. That's not about your personality. It's about your vibration. You carry codes, ancient, multidimensional codes that activate people just by being near them. But with that gift comes responsibility. You can't afford to live out of alignment. You can't afford to numb yourself, shrink yourself, or lie to yourself. Because the more you do, the more your life falls apart. Not as punishment, but as correction. The universe won't let you forget who you are for long. You're here to be a bridge between worlds. And bridges must be strong, clear, and grounded on both sides. There's something else. You've always felt watched, not in a paranoid way, but in a sacred way. Like something ancient is observing you, not judging, not controlling, just witnessing. That's because you're not alone. Higher beings, interdimensional guides, ancestors, and aspects of your own higher self are always near. They don't interfere unless necessary, but they watch. Because when someone like you agrees to come back into the density of this world and carry the light through it, it's not taken lightly. You're not just living a life. You're fulfilling a soul contract. And every time you choose truth over comfort, presence over distraction, alignment over approval, that contract activates. You're not here to escape the world. You're here to transmute it from within. So here's the question. If everything you've suffered, everything you've questioned, everything you felt has been part of a sacred remembering, what will you do with that knowing? Will you do with that knowing? Will you finally allow yourself to become what you came here to be? This is not about ego. It's about essence. It's about reclaiming the parts of you that this world told you to bury. You don't need to explain your path to anyone. You just need to walk it. And as you do, the dimensions will align. The signs will multiply. The synchronicities will intensify. Because you're no longer just living in this world, you're bending it with your presence. You're not just chosen. You're remembering that you chose this. The multi-dimensional blueprint hidden in your soul memory. There's something inside you older than time. A blueprint that didn't begin with your birth and won't end when this body dissolves. It's not made of flesh or thought, but of pure consciousness. And the moment you stop identifying solely with your human story, you begin to feel it. This blueprint isn't written in words. It's encoded in your energy, your intuition, your dreams, your triggers, your deepest longings. You're not just reacting to life, you're remembering it. Every moment of deja vu, every strange dream that felt more real than this world, every time you meet someone and feel like you've known them forever, that's your soul memory trying to surface. You're not here to figure it all out. You're here to uncover what's been buried beneath lifetimes of forgetting. The chosen ones didn't choose comfort. They chose clarity. Before you incarnated, you agreed to hold a vibration strong enough to disrupt centuries of illusion. That's why your life hasn't been easy. You weren't sent into harmony, you were sent into distortion to remember who you are despite it. Your wounds are not proof that you're broken. They're proof that you're brave. Brave enough to carry the codes into the darkest places. Brave enough to step into amnesia and find your way back through feeling, through pain, through the whispers of your own soul. You knew it would be hard. You knew you'd forget. But you also knew you'd wake up. And now you are. Have you ever asked yourself why you feel so much? Why your emotions seem louder, deeper, more overwhelming than others? That's not a flaw. That's your nervous system responding to a higher dimensional blueprint. You're wired to sense frequencies beyond logic. You feel pain that isn't yours. You cry at the beauty of the sky. You walk into a room and feel the residue of arguments no one's told you about. You're a tuning fork for unseen energy. And yes, it can be exhausting, but it's also your gift. Because what you feel, you can transmute. What you sense, you can heal. You're not here to block it out. You're here to move it through. That's why grounding, rest, and solitude are sacred for you. Not luxuries, but essential spiritual maintenance. Another sign of the blueprint activating, you stop chasing answers and start listening for alignment. The mind wants to know. The soul wants to feel. You may notice that conventional paths no longer satisfy you. You might leave careers, relationships, ideologies that once gave you a sense of identity. And though it feels like loss, it's actually calibration. You're not becoming lost, you're becoming available. Available to your true mission. Available to the synchronicities that can only find you when you're not clinging to what's safe. This blueprint is magnetic. When you align with it, people, places, and moments begin to find you without effort. You stop forcing. You start flowing. And that's when you realize, life isn't happening to you, it's happening through you. There's a moment that comes for all who are chosen when the blueprint becomes louder than the conditioning. It might happen in meditation, during a breakdown, in the middle of nature, or in the silence after a deep loss. Suddenly you remember something, not with your mind, but with your being. You remember that you are not just this name, this job, this body. You are a soul that volunteered to descend into density with one intention: to carry light through it. And the light isn't a metaphor. It's literal. It's frequency. It's the vibration of truth, coherence, compassion, clarity. Every time you speak from your soul, you transmit that light. Every time you choose integrity over fear, you strengthen that signal. And that's how you change the world, not by fighting the old, but by anchoring the new. Let's go deeper. Are you willing? Ask yourself this. What part of you have you been conditioned to hide that is actually the most sacred? Is it your sensitivity, your intuition, your sense of wonder, your ability to feel deeply? The world teaches us to bury these gifts, but your blueprint depends on them. You were never meant to be hard, numb, or indifferent. You were meant to feel so deeply that you could melt illusions just by being fully present. That's why the awakening journey is so intense. It's not about becoming more. It's about unbecoming everything you were told to be. And in that undoing, you become real, raw, radiant, and fully equipped to fulfill your soul contract. Here's something most people don't realize: your spiritual gifts don't come from books or teachers. They come from remembering your own blueprint. That's why certain practices feel instantly familiar. That's why you're drawn to symbols, languages, or cultures you've never studied. That's why you sometimes know things without understanding how. Memory isn't always mental. It's energetic. And when you stop filtering your knowing through logic, you unlock levels of wisdom that others can't even explain. You become a walking oracle, not because you're special, but because you're attuned. The more you trust that knowing, the louder it gets. Until one day, it's not a whisper anymore. It's your compass. And here's the final truth of this part. Your blueprint is not just about you. It's connected to a quantum network of other souls who carry similar codes. You've probably met some of them already, people you feel deeply connected to, even if you just met. People who speak your language without words. These are your soul allies, your tribe across time. And when you begin to remember your mission, they start showing up. Not to complete you, but to activate you. Because none of us do this alone. We're not here to be saviors. We're here to be mirrors. And together we form the frequency grid that helps this planet shift. So the next time you feel strange, out of place, too sensitive, too intense, too much, remember this: you're not broken. You're tuned for something higher. And the more you live from your blueprint, the more you will see how everything, every pain, every loss, every awakening was never random. It was all part of the map. And now that you've remembered even a piece of it, the journey accelerates. Why the universe hides the most powerful souls in plain sight. If you've ever wondered why your life didn't come with a clear instruction manual, or why your path has been filled with more questions than answers, it's because the universe doesn't hand the chosen ones a spotlight. It hands them a mirror. Instead of applause, it offers silence. Instead of shortcuts, it offers shadow work. Because the most powerful souls are not forged in fame, they are refined in obscurity. In this world, true power must be concealed until it's stable, until it's rooted deep enough to not be corrupted. So instead of recognition, you were given rejection. Instead of certainty, you were given chaos. Not as punishment, but as protection. Because had you known too early who you really are, the ego would have claimed it, and the mission would have been lost to the illusion of control. Look around. The ones who truly carry light rarely shout. They don't seek attention, they radiate. You may not even realize how many people you've already impacted, simply by existing in your truth. But that's the paradox of divine purpose. The more aligned you become, the less you need to be seen, because you realize that your real power doesn't come from being known by others. It comes from being fully known by yourself and by the forces that walk with you. You are not here for validation. You are here for vibration. The chosen ones are not interested in being liked. They are committed to being aligned. And alignment is often lonely, but never empty. You've probably spent years doubting your worth because you didn't fit in, because you were too quiet or too intense or too different. But now, in this moment, let that belief crumble. Because what if your difference is your design? What if your silence was where you downloaded the codes? What if the reason you never resonated with the mainstream is because you weren't supposed to match it? You were meant to upgrade it from within. The universe hides its most ancient keys in the most unassuming places. You are one of those places. And now you're being asked to stop hiding from yourself. Take a breath. Feel into this. What if you've already passed many of the tests you didn't even know were tests? Think of all the times you chose integrity over comfort. Think of all the times you walked away from what wasn't aligned, even when it broke your heart. Think of the strength it took to keep feeling, to keep loving, to keep showing up, even when no one saw the weight you were carrying. That's power. That's mastery. And now the universe is whispering. It's time. Time to stop waiting. Time to stop doubting. Time to stop pretending you don't know who you are. Because you do. You've always known. You were just waiting for permission. And now I'm telling you, you are the permission. And still, the chosen ones often ask, why me? But the deeper question is, why not me? Who else could carry what you carry? Who else could have survived what you've survived and still have a heart open enough to love? Who else would be willing to walk through fire just to light the way for one more soul? That's what sets you apart. Not ego, not perfection, but devotion. You didn't come here to play it safe. You came here to be an earthquake in the matrix. You came here to remember your light so fully that others remember theirs just by being in your field. And that's not a fantasy. That's how energy works. That's how dimensions bend. You're not here to follow the map. You are the map. You're the living proof that divinity can wear human skin, that transcendence can exist in the middle of traffic, heartbreak, rent payments, and raw vulnerability. Your life is not separate from your mission. Your trauma is not a detour. It's the training ground. Every wound gave you empathy. Every betrayal gave you discernment. Every loss carved space for more soul to come through. You are not behind, you are becoming. And every version of you, past and present, has been sacred. Let me tell you something sacred. No one can take from you what is written in your soul. Not failure, not fear, not delay, not even death. Because what you carry transcends this dimension. That's why you feel so much. That's why time feels strange around you. That's why you think in symbols and feel in waves. You're not just a person, you're a portal. And when you remember that, you stop trying to be understood. You start becoming undeniable. You don't need to explain your frequency. You embody it. And embodiment is the highest transmission of all. So what do you do now? You walk forward. Not with certainty, but with trust. You honor the whispers. You follow the subtle nudges. You say yes to what expands you and no to what shrinks you. You protect your energy like it's a sacred temple, because it is. You don't need to prove your worth to anyone. You don't need to chase outcomes. You only need to keep becoming more you. Because the more you do, the more your presence alone becomes a lighthouse in a storm. You will find the others. You will learn the next step. You will be guided, not because you begged, but because you remembered. And when the moment comes, and it will, when someone looks at you with tears in their eyes and says, "I don't know what it is about you, but you just reminded me of something I forgot I was," you'll know. You'll feel it in your bones, that this is what it was all for. Not to be famous, not to be followed, but to be felt. To awaken the sacred in others simply by embodying it yourself. That's what it means to be chosen. Not to be above others, but to be of service to their remembrance. And when you do that, you transcend every dimension. One breath, one truth, one presence at a time. The awakening of the architect within you. Now that you've remembered even a glimpse of who you are, you can never unknow it. You've crossed an invisible threshold. The world may still look the same, but it feels different. And that's the final sign that the dream of reality has started to break just enough for you to see the code behind it. Because you are not just a player in this illusion. You are an architect, a builder of timelines, a weaver of realities. You've been conditioned to think you're small, but the truth is, your very awareness is what holds this hologram together. You are not living in the world is living through you. And once you feel that, once you truly own that, every limitation crumbles. You no longer ask, "What am I allowed to do?" You ask, "What am I here to create?" You came here to design from the inside out, not to fix the old, but to birth the new. That's why the systems that others cling to feel hollow to you. That's why the rules of success, status, and survival never fully resonated. You weren't meant to play by them. You were meant to rewrite them. And you do that not through rebellion, but through embodiment. Through choosing truth again and again until your entire field becomes a living invitation for others to do the same. That's how you transcend dimensions, not by escaping this one, but by infusing it with the vibration of a higher one. You don't need to shout. You don't need to force. Just your presence, aligned and unfiltered, becomes a portal. A soft but undeniable force that bends reality toward coherence. And yet, as powerful as this sounds, the path forward is still human. It's still messy. The chosen ones bleed too. They grieve. They doubt. They fall. But the difference is they rise with wisdom. They alchemize every fall into medicine. Every heartbreak becomes a deeper capacity to hold love. Every setback becomes a recalibration. You don't transcend by floating above life. You transcend by feeling it fully and not being consumed by it. That's the real mastery. When you can stand in the fire and say, even this is sacred. When you stop asking for the storm to pass and instead ask, what is this storm awakening in me? Let me remind you of something. You didn't come here to be perfect. You came here to be real, to be fully alive, to remember not only your light, but your shadow, and to reconcile them into wholeness. Your shadow is not your enemy. It's your doorway. Every fear, every insecurity, every impulse to hide, these are messages. Not to shrink, but to integrate. Because the more you embrace every part of yourself, the more you reclaim your power. And when you are whole, you cannot be manipulated. You cannot be owned. You cannot be programmed. You become sovereign. And a sovereign soul is unshakable by any dimension. And here's the deepest truth. The world doesn't need more spiritual celebrities. It doesn't need more information. It needs embodied examples. People who are willing to live what they know. People who walk with compassion and clarity. People who don't preach but radiate. That's why this journey is sacred. Because every time you choose authenticity over performance, presence over productivity, love over fear, you're weaving a new paradigm into existence. You're planting seeds in the collective field. You're becoming the future now. And not everyone will understand you. That's okay. You didn't come to be understood. You came to remember who you are and help others do the same. So take this message not as a conclusion, but as an ignition. You've always been the chosen one, not because you're better, but because you're ready. Ready to remember, ready to reclaim, ready to rebuild. You are the bridge, the blueprint, the beacon. And this awakening you feel is not the end. It's the beginning. The earth needs you now. The dimensions are listening. The signal is strong. So step forward, not with fear, but with the quiet power of someone who knows. I was never lost. I was only remembering. And now you walk not just in this world, but through all worlds, fully awake, fully human, fully divine.